Champions are not born, they are forged, tempered and shaped by the fires of competition. Each year, the nation's best amateur racers enter the flames of the Sports Car Club of America Runoffs, a single winner-take-all event. This year, the Runoffs returns to Road America, one of the world's greatest and most challenging tracks. Over 500 drivers will take the green at the 48th annual Runoffs. Only 28 will emerge as national champions. The SCCA Runoffs, next on Speedcast TV. And it's time now for our coverage of Spec Miata's run to the national championship here at the 48th annual SCCA National Championship Runoffs. And as I said, I'm joined by Chip Herr, and this is a class near and dear to this guy's heart. It's where he started, where he had a lot of success, and in fact, got him some recognition and springboarded him up into the pro ranks of racing. Chip, and then you take a look at the size of the field, over 30 cars in this one, incredibly close racing, and if you do well at the front of this, it's because you've got some skill, and people recognize that.
Yeah, that's very true, Greg, and thanks for having me again. This is a real exciting race for me to be a part of.
Well, absolutely, and of course, there are two key words here. One is Spec, the other Miata. John Bizignano, this is a field of identical cars. The driver can put on a show.
Well, you're absolutely right. When it comes to any type of spec class, driver skill actually takes over. But a little bit of drama down here on the grid. Our number 2 white Miata over there, the pole sitter, Jim, just arrived right going into the 1 minute signal. A lot of these people are making the final choices, going from a dry track, dry setup to pretty much a wet track to a dry track setup. That means they were very soft on the suspension, sway bars were full soft. And right up until to the time of getting to the grid, they're stiffening up that car. They're trying to make it, all the cars are on slicks, they're trying to make it just absolutely work as good as possible in the drying conditions. Let's see what choices they've made. Let's see if it works out for them. A lot of drama down here, guys.
Well, absolutely. I mean, after watching that last race and seeing that other racers out there that were on either the sort of hand groove slicks or the actual slicks near the end of that were clearly quicker by seconds, that makes the mind up. But we talked about the fact, Chip, you've got a dry line, but offline it's damp, and if you're running a full slick, you try and make a pass and have to go offline, it gets sketchy.
You know, it just comes down to qualifying. These guys, whoever's up front, they get single file, they can run nose to tail, and you know, you make a good point. If they start trying to, if a guy qualified bad but is a top running guy just because he didn't get a good qualifying time, he's going to struggle to try to pass on the, let's say offline. It's going to be damp. So it's going to make for interesting racing, but the way I see it, if somebody runs any kind of rain tire, I don't see many puddles, like straight up puddles to cool the tires down. So this seems to me like a dry setup. It's going to get better as the race goes on.
Yeah, I don't see that you've got an option. It's just you've got to be managing things very, very carefully out there for a while. And, you know, being a Miata, this is one of the classes that started as a regional class when it was brought up into the national level because it's a class that you can get into relatively inexpensively, and things are restricted. It is very closely teched, and that is what makes it such a compelling and exciting class. As I said, a big field, so let's get right to the starting lineup here so we can run through it here. On the pole, as we said, John pointed out, number 2, Jim Drago out of Memphis, Tennessee. Silver here in 09 and also won the sprints earlier this season in the E Street Racing Miata. This is a great story. On the outside of that front row, number 73, Elvin Goulart out of Shelton, Connecticut, 2-time gold medalist, but in 01 and 02 in Formula 500, the race that was just preceding this one, where he also had a pole showing he's pretty good behind the wheel of a sedan as well in his SCDA1.com entry. 58, Pat Sandlin qualifies third out of Cordova, Tennessee in the Community Mortgage Machine. Number 44, Steve Gararian, who's had one of the great runs here over the past few years, and certainly won a gold medalist with the gold here in 09 in the Guerrilla Racing Driven Performance Machine. Qualified fifth, number 39, Danny Stein out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He was second here at the sprints in the Adept Studios Rossi Engines machine. Qualified sixth, number 94, Tom Sager out of Naperville, Illinois in the Tech Trade Partners machine. Qualified seventh, number 79, Sean Slattery. He is out of Chicago, Illinois in the Race Engineering Miata. Qualified eighth, number 71, Wojtek Bertzi out of Algonquin, Illinois, BVR region, the Advanced Auto Sports Miata. Qualified ninth, your defending champion, Andrew Charbonneau, gives an idea of how competitive this class is, out of Delray Beach, Florida. And he ran earlier yesterday, as a matter of fact, finishing 15th in Spec Racer Fords. Today he's in the Auto Technique Mazda Miata. Starting 10th is 02, Alexander Bolanos out of Miami, Florida in the Auto Technique machine. Qualified 11th, number 9, Jared Gerber out of Dodgeville, Wisconsin in the Mobile Repairs Mazda Miata. Moved up to 12th after some penalties were assessed after qualifying is number 78, Sammy Valifar, who was very quick, qualified third last year, but had problems and ended up finishing back in 32nd out of Las Vegas, Nevada, in the MiataPartSource.com entry. 13th is number 72, Christopher Haldeman out of Anna, Texas, the complete dent repair Miata. Qualified 14th, number 68, David Bednarz out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. He was third at the sprints earlier this season in June here at Road America in the Dynamax exhaust Miata. 15th will be number 38, Tom Fowler out of Cumming, Georgia in the Adept Studios entry. Teammate to Denny Stein, and boy, were they working together in qualifying. It was great to watch. Qualified way back for him in the 16th spot after being moved up a couple of places. The gentleman who won the silver in 07 in Formula Ford, he's had 2 medals, a fast lap at the Runoffs, and last year qualified second, finished third, but only starting 16th is the number 17, Tony Coelho out of East Troy, Wisconsin in the MotorsportReg.com Safe Racer Miata. Qualified 17th, number 75, Mike Collins out of Mount Airy, Maryland in the Sheets Race Engineering Machine. Qualified 18th, number 12, Brian Giordinelli out of San Rafael, California in the motorsport.reg.com entry. This is his first runoff. Starting 19th is the 29 of Craig Berry out of Tyler, Texas, and he is in the Berry Marble Machine. Qualified 20th, number 33, Adam Poland out of Mount Vernon, Texas, his first runoff in the Poland Homes entry. 21st will be 46, Tom Kraft out of Des Moines, Iowa. Check this one out. He was a silver medalist in 1996 in Shelby Can-Ams. That gives you an idea how long he's been racing here in the Kraft Imports entry. Starting number 22 on the grid is number 92, and one of the great gentlemen in all of motorsports, Harry Manning out of Racine, Wisconsin. He won the gold medal in 03 in Showroom Stock B, 4-time medalist in his Hawk Brakes Redline Mazda Miata. Just a great gent. 23rd, number 27 is Tom Brown out of Muskego, Wisconsin, the custom wireless entry. In the 24th spot will be number 21, Stephen Powers out of Mesa, Arizona, the STD Mach Dyno Comp Mazda Miata. Starting 25th will be 98, Charlie Campbell out of Corey, Pennsylvania. Great story here. It's his first runoff, but yesterday Chip and I called him to an exciting and brilliant third place and a medal in F Productions and Campbell Trucking and Lock Auto. Now we're going to pause in the grid, send it right back down to John Bizignano. What's developing, John?
Well, one quick development is the 58 car of Patrick Sandin. Our third place qualifier did not make it to the grid. Unfortunately, there was no crew here, so we don't know why. We'll be checking with the SCCA. Hey, they're coming through the last few corners, guys. It's going to be a great, great race.
I think it's going to be spectacular. We're sure looking forward to it. Starting 26 will be number 70, Tyler Dahl out of Spanish Fork, Utah, in the MiataCage.com Miata. Starting 27, number 20, Luke Bickham out of Dallas, Texas, in the Luke Bickham PC machine. Starting 28-04, David Falfanier out of Naperville, Illinois, in the Kaplan Racing Systems machine. 29th will be number 40, David Pintarik out of Canfield, Ohio. We saw him race earlier in the STO division in the Kreider Racing Mazda Miata today. 30th will be number 3, Phil Cummings in the Great Western Miata. 31st to be number 77, Ted Cahill out of Bellevue, Washington, the Meathead Racing Miata. Starting 32nd, number 96, James Sir out of Springboro, Ohio, in the Coletti Motorsports Mazda Miata. For a great run from him, struggling a little bit in qualifying. 33rd will be 84, Randy Cummings, and 34th will be 57, Chip Van Verst. Not sure they made the grid, neither of them. Well, actually, that's not true. Randy Cummings did get a time in qualifying, so he should be out there. And we'll see if Chip Van Verst, who's always a front runner when he does run, did not get a time. So a big field, as we said. And, of course, now we're starting to see that track drying nicely. We do have some bits of sun out there, so this should be a good barn burner. This one had a huge wreck early in the race that took out a few of the cars. But at the front, it was, as always, a great battle. The pace car is in. 13 laps of Spec Miata, competition for a national championship. Watching for the green, it flies. We're underway. Drago with Goulart alongside. And Sandlin all by himself slotting into that third spot. Here we go. Drago still there, but Goulart not going quietly. Now he tucks in behind, and Drago coming in. And actually Drago leads, but it looks like Sandlin got up and was able to sneak into second, pushing Goulart back to third. Here's the rest of the field down through turn one, and that downhill drop. Oh, and that's Guerrerian who's having that great start. And indeed, yep, what a move by him. He is always awfully quick. He certainly is aggressive, but he's fast, Chip.
I'll tell you what, Jim Drago got a great start, and it seemed like the guys are trying to find their groove and find out, because they want to get single file and figure out where the lines are, because it's their first lap at speed. And they know that if they let Drago get away, I mean, Drago spent a lot of time this last year and a half prepping for this race in the June sprints in the dyno and purchasing his own dyno. So he's been prepping for this race and putting a lot of time into. And you can see right there, the guys are just trying to find their spot, you know.
Well, you can see you get offline at all. You can see the spray still coming off from some of the damp spots on that track. And you catch a little bit of that, and then you start running wide. And that big move down the inside again by Guerrerian as they headed into 5 for a minute there allowed Drago to open that margin up just a little bit, but it went away in a hurry. And in the qualifying rounds, oh, look at this, Drago going defensive already, and still in all, Guerrerian. Oh, they touch! They touch. Drago is sideways. Guerrerian is able to hang on to it, but you know what? I think they could both be held a little bit responsible for that because Drago definitely was moving over to defend aggressively, but certainly Guerrerian did give him a little bit of the chrome horn. Now Drago's day just got pretty long.
Yeah, this is just the beginning here, Greg. You know, unfortunately, these guys, this is an important race to a lot of these guys, and they've waited all year for the opportunity to win this race, and we have not had a repeat winner. I mean, every year we've had a different winner, and you got guys like Charbonneau, Tony Coelho, Pat Sandlin, Drago, Guerrerian. These guys are all very, very fast and win respectively in their regions.
Absolutely they do, and it's made it quite interesting to watch how everything unfolds. And Denny Stein actually got around Guerrerian after that little contretemps down into turn number 8, but not much past that, and Guerrerian's right back out in front of Stein. And, somebody running way wide out there. Gathers it up again at the exit of Canada corner. But this is the kind of stuff we can expect to see all race long. You start racing each other, and the guy behind you is going to catch you, and then you get into a train, and you can maybe gap a little bit. But at a certain point, we've talked about it, the gloves come off, and it looks like in this one, Chip, they came off on the opening lap.
All right, we haven't even completed a lap yet. I don't even know who's where. You know, I'm waiting to go across the line to find out, you know, who's in, you know, the top guys here.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I know that we got Guerrerian up front and Stein in second. And here comes the rest of it. Charbonneau. Now that's an opening lap, folks, from 9th to 3rd. And that's somebody who played it cagily, to be sure. Elvin Goulart now in 4th. And Tom Sager right there in the 5th spot, up from the 6th position as they head down through turn 1. And again, you can see Denny Stein all over the back of Guerrerian. And I was talking about Stein and his teammate Fowler in qualifying. They never went out. When I was out around the track, they never went out without being an absolute lockstep, trying to haul each other around, give each other a tow, then let the guy through, then give him a little bump here, working that kind of a groove. But now you take a look, and Charbonneau now is up. Oh, and number 2, Drago, came down into the pits, obviously felt like something's wrong. The guys are saying, go ahead and go, and he's going, no, something's not right. And so now they're going to have a much longer discussion. So any shot that Jim Drago had.
Oh, we have a lead change.
Oh, and we do. Stein. Hey, and he's taking Charbonneau right with him. So just that quickly, that is Guerrerian slotting back to 4th. So Elvin Goulart has moved up into 3rd. That's a great run as well. Again, Goulart made his name in the Formula 500 category, but doing an awfully strong job in these cars. We have a full course caution. A full course caution has come out on the track. And as it's the number 68 has contact with number 46, and they need them removed immediately. So that's David Bednarz, who's another of the very quick drivers, but had a bad qualifying, Chip. And that's the kind of stuff that can happen when you qualify mid-pack, is you're right in the middle of everything.
I tell you what I saw is my friend Mike Collins from back in where I used to race. He went from 17th to 8th in 1.5 laps, so that's really great to see that these guys, again, qualifying is important, but some of these guys are qualifying anywhere in the top 20, have a real shot at winning this thing.
Absolutely. I mean, things happen at this point. So we're going to go back and take a look, Chip, at what happened between Drago and Guerrerian that ended up with Drago in the pits. Take a look at it. Tell us what you see.
Well, it just looks like Drago was protecting his line. I mean, I think there was a little bit of tension over the year of these two, and I think nobody was willing to give an inch. And the unfortunate thing is it is early in the race. It's the first lap. You know, they should have given each other room and tucked in, and maybe they could have worked together and then battled out the last 5 laps. But, you know, Jim's a great guy. I've raced against him. Guerrerian came in a little bit later after I left Spec Miata, but I've heard that both drivers just wicked fast.
Very quick, certainly intense. Guerrerian's record in the last 4 years, he was 4th in 07, 2nd in 08 with a silver, won the championship in 09, and 2nd last year with another silver. And he's also had at least one pole in that mix as well. Two poles consecutively. So he is very, very quick, but you've got some other players up there. Denny Stain right here, certainly very impressive. Charbonneau, who comes in here as the defending medalist, and you talked about the speed. Now you can add Elvin Goulart in there. He's doing a great job in these sedans, which he hasn't run for very long, but certainly a great talent. And Tom Sager now up into fourth with Wojtek Bertzi sitting now in the fifth spot. So lots of changes happening in the early going. And by the way, Charlie Campbell, who we talked about, that brilliant run to bronze medal, literally at the stripe, sitting in the 12th spot right now. Excuse me, he dropped back a little bit to 15th. And Chip Van Verst, who we weren't sure whether he was going to make the grid, and if he did, he was going to start
coming
dead last in 34th. He's up 20 spots. 20 spots Chip Van Verst has made up in 2 laps and now sits 14th. And not a big surprise. He was a silver medalist in 01 at Mid-Ohio in T1, and he's got a couple of other medals. He certainly is very quick. So pretty amazing stuff, but it's a very talented Denny Stain sits up front right now. So while we're under this full course caution, we're going to let things settle out just a little bit while they clean up the incidents over in turn 11. So that's the kink, and obviously anything back there, you want to get that cleaned up and get it back to clear track. So while that's happening, we're going to step away for just a minute. But believe me, folks, you're not going to want to go anywhere, because when we come back and go green and Spec Miata, the war's going to be on for a national championship. This portion of the 48th annual SCCA National Championship Runoffs is being brought to you by Mazda, Zoom Zoom, by Black Magic Car Care Products, and by Gumout, cleaning since 1945.
What do you drive? Is it inspiring? Was it built by a behemoth car maker? Or insightful craftsmen obsessing over the details, building better cars for a discerning few? Are you one of the few who care about what you drive and how it drives? We're with you, because we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. We build Mazdas. What do you drive?
Gumout Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner helps restore lost horsepower and fuel economy. Just pour an entire bottle of Gumout Regain into your tank before your next fill-up. Powerful cleaning additives attach themselves to fuel system carbon deposits and safely and effectively lift them away. That way, deposits burn up, then pass through the exhaust. Gumout Regain additives even leave a protective barrier to help keep new deposits from forming for up to 3,000 miles. Get a bottle of Gumout Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner today for reduced engine hesitation, surging and knocking, as well as restored fuel economy and lost horsepower, all within one fill-up.
Okay, it's time to face facts. You're a gearhead. You treat the freeway on-ramp like your own personal racetrack, and you love the smell of burning rubber. Well, good news, Speed Junkie. The Sports Car Club of America wants you. With 40,000 members and 2,000 events across the country, the SCCA has all the wheel-spinning, engine-revving excitement you can handle. Want to dance on the edge of control? In SCCA Solo, you'll learn the blacktop two-step with an army of cones trying to trip you up. If slinging mud is your thing, check out SCCA Rallycross, where power slides and rooster tails are the name of the game. And if wheel-to-wheel competition is what you crave, SCCA Club Racing lets you chase the checkered flag on America's toughest racetracks. Join the Sports Car Club of America today and feed your obsession.
We're back to our coverage here on SpeedcastTV.com of the chase to the Spec Miata National Championship here at the 48th Annual SCCA National Championship Runoff. Sports Car Club of America, an absolutely great society to become a member of. And whether you want to race or whether you just want to be involved, it is a great place for you. So please, if you're thinking about, if you like racing and you're, boy, I'd like to do something in racing, even if it's not driving, you can corner work. If you're a motorhead, you can work tech. If you're a software geek, you can work in timing and scoring, because those programs are becoming, and even in tech nowadays, there's that. So check it out. Become a member, come out and have some fun. We certainly are, and we're having a great race unfolding right now. A couple of guys we were talking about, Mike Collins started 17th, and he's moved up into 9th. But the story here, Chip Van Verst started in 34th, had no times in qualifying, couldn't get here, but because of his runoffs history was allowed to start. He's moved up now into 15th, and talk about a yellow helping somebody out, Chip.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with, but the problem is when you get in the top 15, even top 20, you can't pass the back. I don't say back markers. There's like no back markers here, but it does get harder. And
Sure,
you have to pick it's pass each. Could be a 2 cars a lap, but the farther you get up the front, it's not that easy.
It always gets tougher when you get closer to that top. You bet. Now, pace car's in, so we are going back to green here at Road America. Hope you're enjoying the coverage here in HD, brought to you by VW. Watch for the green. It flies, and Denny Stain leading Andrew Charbonneau, the defending champion. A little bit of breathing room over Elevin Goulart, and he's got a little bit more room back to the 44 of Steve Guerrerian, but believe me, folks, that's going to compress in a big, big hurry. And you can take a look already. Goulart has joined the back of Stain and Charbonneau as they head down into turn 1, using every bit of the exit curbing here. That's one of the things. These are spec cars. They're all Miatas, but they're to a specific spec, but they all have a little bit of clearance. So these guys don't mind using curbs.
No, these cars are set up, they're great handling cars, but you can jump on curbs. The way the rod height's set in these cars, you can hit some curb, but then some guys like to ride the car a lot lower, and in that case, it will bottom out because the shock barely has enough. On a good setup, like I used to have it, I could barely fit my finger between the shock.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of room, but you can use the curbs because you have to use every ounce of the track on turn-in and your exit to get maximum amount of momentum out of the corner.
And you can see Stain defending, and he got into that little bit of dampness. And Charbonneau actually didn't realize that Goulart had got a nose inside of him. The two of them just touched. It was very slight, but it was just enough to loosen up Charbonneau, and just that quickly, both Goulart and Guerrerian have gone through, and Charbonneau's been thrown off that rhythm a little bit. He's just trying to gather it up and try and stop anybody else from coming through. See if he's able to do that. Looks like he may have been able to, but in the back of the order just a little bit. A big move down to the inside. Couldn't quite get it done as the number 71 of Wojciech Bertzi trying to get by the 94 of the red Miata of Tom Sager down into turn 8. Couldn't quite make that one work at this point. And this looks like Charbonneau has been able to stem the flow a little bit. He's got Sager now in lockstep behind him. But, boy, that is a brave move around the outside. I think that's Mike Collins working the outside of the carousel. And, of course, that's been a spot where everybody earlier today, because of the damp conditions, has been running a bit. So it actually might have a little bit more grip than it might normally. Ooh, and somebody dropping the entire left side as they exit the kink. That is always a bit spooky. But it looks like they were all able to gather it up. Back to this battle up front. It is still Stain hanging on. But it's Guerrerian and Goulart right behind, and a little bit of a gap. And 94, Sager has lost touch now. He's run a little bit wide as he and Charbonneau have been duking it out and throw the red Miata of Tom Sager in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the front 3 guys are starting to work together and not really show their nose. And I hope they realize it's a long race, but they can't be fighting each other, because as soon as they start fighting, again, we're going to see like, oh, there goes 2 guys fighting it off in the grass. They don't lift. I mean,
just keep her pinned.
Yeah, you make one mistake, you lose 2 or 3 spots.
I think that was the 71 of Wojciech Bertzi, who's been doing a nice job, but now runs wide. And you make a good point now. The guys in 4th, 5th, 6th, they're seeing that lead 3 gap it a bit. They need to just run together. And as we say that, you can see a lead change right now as we have Denny Stein has been passed, and it is Guerrerian, and he takes Goulart with him. And just that quickly, Stain drops into 3rd. And it's still Charbonneau in 4th, but he has got that red machine of Sager all over him at this point. Down into turn 3, Guerrerian, Goulart. And then that blue and orange number 39 of Denny Stain as they exit 3 and make this long run down the backstretch. It looks like Goulart might be looking for more.
Yeah, it's funny. You just saw Goulart. I mean, he came out and he tracked out in rumple strips. You see his little brake lights flicker. He's making sure he's got no brake knockback going into turn 5. Because I tell you what, when it's full throttle, wide open throttle, and then it's full braking when it comes down to turn 5. Because he's ready for. Look at this. I mean, right, exactly. He's out on the outside pass.
Yep, that's Goulart. As obviously Guerrerian trying to protect the inside.
Over and under.
Trying to cut underneath. Guerrerian sensed that coming, and he moves over. But yeah, I think Goulart's got the inside. He's got the nose, and we had somebody run up. That's
he took the lead.
I think that was the 94 of Sager. So he's got problems. So we've got Goulart into the lead, and he was simply not going to be denied no matter what Guerrerian did. It looked like Goulart had it figured out and has moved to the lead. Guerrerian 2nd, Stain in 3rd, Charbonneau hanging on to a tentative 4th at this point. That's turn 8, now heading into the carousel.
And a different lines.
Yeah. At this point, everybody trying to get down, there's that little bit of an apex curve when you hit the second half of the carousel, which is known as turn 10. And you want to be down to that inside so you can track out, carry a lot of speed into the kink. And Stain laying back just a little bit. Interesting, Guerrerian not using anywhere near the whole racetrack in there and able to maintain the speed of those lead guys.
Yeah, you know, it all depends on your turn-in. Some people have a little bit later turn-in. With these cars, you're flat to the kink. Some cars, you have to lift or maybe left foot brake. It's just to make you feel better about yourself going through there. But these cars, you can turn a little bit later, and I think it's all about how you track out. Some of these guys like to have that slide out to the outside curving. But it looks to me like the fourth, Charbonneau and Birdsey,
yeah.
Looks like they're starting to reel in the front leaders and they're working together here.
Well, they haven't moved out of line at all in that last lap, and it has paid dividends as they closed up. By the way, I thought it was Wojtek Birdsey who ran wide down at 14 last time. That was actually Sager. So now that lead trio is quickly going to become a lead quintet, and then the bit of a gap back to 6th in the rest of the battle. And a nice job now by Charbonneau and Birdsey. It's Alexander Bolanos in the 0-2. Is that Miata sitting in the 6th spot? And here we go. Guerrerian down to the inside, heading into turn 1.
That's all drafting right there.
And look at this. Goulart trying to stay put, then finally slides back in. Now cuts to the inside.
Trying to block.
Yeah, I think that was more than taking a counterpunch move. That was to keep Stain behind him, wasn't it?
Yeah, I want to make a note here. Chip Van Verst is actually in 7th. He moved up to 7th place. I mean, he's on a man on a mission. He hasn't been here all week, and he just that guy can drive. I've seen him drive in many different series, and when it comes to Spec Miata in the southeast, he runs a good rental program down there. But 7th place, he's moving.
He is spectacular. 34th to 7th, and look at this, side by each again. And then Guerrerian going, no, I'm going to tuck back in. Stain watching, but moves back in line. Then the white number 1 is Charbonneau, the defending champ. Wojtek Birdsey right behind him, and then, as you pointed out, Bolanos, and then Chip Van Verst. What a story. And Sammy Valafar sits in 8th to 75, and Mike Collins, still a good run up from 17th to 9th, and Jared Gerber fills out your top 10 in the number 9 right now. But we've got 2 phenomenal battles unfolding, a 5-car battle for the lead and a 3-car battle for 6 right now. Coming out of 7, down into turn number 8, and that's what takes you into the and Van Verst has got around Bolanos. He is 6th.
Yeah, he sure is.
And now, leading that train, you think the speed he's been showing, if he hasn't abused the tires too much, that he might be able to get a little help and move his way up and join that group up front. And part of the spec aspect of this is, all the components on the car, but it's tires as well. Everybody's running the same tires. Now, did you start on rains or wets or slicks? That might be a little bit of a different thing. But it isn't a big tire war out here. And that started before turn-in. What an amazing save. However, can the orange car saves it as well? That's the exit of the kink. If either of those guys had gone around, it could have been huge. That was absolutely gut in the throat moments, and they all saved him. And I think
we got another
he
off.
didn't. He spun it. I don't think. Well, he did. He got a little bit of contact, but it was light and continued. So we'll try and get the numbers on all of those big moments down there. But in the end, everybody able to get going again. And wow, unbelievable. Here comes into 14. Up front, it's still Goulart with Guerrerian in tow, then Stain. But look at this. Charbonneau and Birdsey now have joined it. That is a 5-car battle. And then you look at Chip Van Verst, you hear the Jaws music playing.
Oh, man, I tell you what, that's a very high speed to go off from the end of the outside of that kink. The guy behind him, I think he had the fixation on Chip Van Verst, and I think he might have just, he might have lifted, and when he tracked out on the rumble strips, when he lifted, it got loose, and then he did a tank slapper. Woo. And, woo.
Yeah, big save. Nice save, to be sure. So the lead 5 heading down into turn 1. We have just completed lap 5, working 6 of 13.
Wow.
All of our national championship races are 13 laps or 40 minutes. And, what a great battle we have up front. And I can't say enough about Elevin Goulart. He is relatively new to the sedan Spec Miata ranks.
Well, he ran
coming out
MX,
of Formula 500.
He ran MX5 Cup, and he was basically a standout there. He wasn't. I don't know if he ran the whole season due to funding, but when he was there, he made an impact. And I do a lot of AMG arrive and drive with him, so we working together. And he's just a great guy and definitely talented. And look at he just puts it where he wants it.
That was
one
elegant.
Nice move.
Goulart made the draft pass on the straight, and as soon as he went by, or Guerrerian did, Goulart just did the counter move to the inside, deep on the brakes, down into 5, right back in front. And Guerrerian must be going, who is this guy?
Where'd he come from?
Unbelievable. And Stain sitting back there going, I don't want any part of this.
Yeah.
This is going to get ugly. Going to see what happens. Charbonneau, Bertzik, and now Chip Van Verst has slipped back into the 8th spot. So it's Valifar now, and the 78 is up to 6. Collins in the 75 is 7th, and then Van Verst in the 57 sits in the 8th spot. But what I was getting at about the tires is, since assuming they all started on slicks, it's an identical tire, Van Verst charged through the pack, you can't burn your tires off.
You know, I kind of have to disagree. I think that these tires, I mean, when I've always seen with a Toyo, it's always been very competitive, and it's pretty consistent. The best way to use that tire is about after the 14th heat cycle.
Really?
I mean,
Wow.
it all goes back to spending money and not spending a lot of money to go pro racing. And, you know, tires, if you can use them for a longer period of time, you can't go afford to go through sets every weekend.
Oh, sure.
So if you can use these after, 2 sets a whole year.
Whoa, an outside pass by the number 1 of Andrew Charbonneau around Denny Stain down into Canada corner. Stain moved over to defend, and Charbonneau said, that's all right, this is the quicker
bringing
line.
Bertsy.
Yeah.
Oh, he almost tried to bring Bertsy with him.
I think Bertsy's going to have the inside into 14, Chip.
He
not quite. He checked up just a little bit. And Valifar in the number 78, that black Miata, sitting 6th right now, is turning the wick up just a little bit.
This is not over by far.
Oh, no, not at all. And here we go, up top again. Goulart to the middle of the track. Guerrerian slots to the outside.
This is going to be the finish. That's how close.
That's probably,
that could be how close.
Boy, that's a premonition.
Yes.
Right there of what we might see at the end. Heading down into turn 1, and Guerrerian said, nope, now I'm going to tuck in, side draft. Nope, not going to work. And slots back in and goes. So you're basically saying that these
Look
tires.
how much track they're using out there.
Well, it's paved. Go for it.
Yeah, but it's kind of wet.
Yeah, so which makes it a little bit sketchy to be sure. Down through turn 3, but so on the tires, you're saying that they're hard tires, but they have very good durability.
And you can slide the car around a little bit, not drifting it, but you can slide the car around and not cook the tires. And these guys can drive hard for the 40 minutes and essentially, I mean, unless you're locking them up in flat spotting, that's a different story.
Right.
Because once you flat spot, when you hit the brakes, it always finds that flat spot.
Yeah. And that moment for Van Verst back in the kink, he has lost touch with Collins in 7th by about 3 seconds right now. So he and Bolanos and Christopher Haldeman, they have got to work together now, Jarrett Gerber, and try and reel this group back in again. But Goulart right now has been nothing short of spectacular.
Yes. This one way off. Oh, this is going to be bad.
All right.
Wow.
Oh, that was close.
These guys, I'm telling you, even back when I first started the Spec Miata, when they go off, they got such good handling in these cars that they go off and they keep their foot in it. Through the grass, mud, sand. It's incredible.
That's impressive stuff, and boy, it was a great save to eventually hang on to that thing. That was the, I think, is that, I wonder if that was the 78 of Sammy Valifar. He didn't lose, yep, it sure was. He didn't lose a whole lot of position, just a little bit of a track space. He's been running in the 5th spot. Now he lost a spot and about 5-6 car lengths. And again, that's because these guys don't lift.
No, absolutely not.
If there's nothing right in front of them they're going to hit, they keep it pinned.
And the bad thing is when you're on track and you're 2 cars behind them, you never know where they're going to bounce back. But if they do hit a wrong bump and they bounce wrong, the suspension bottoms out, it shoots them across track, and they got their hands full. Hand over fist, whatever they call it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, now a couple of different approaches to get run up the hill here. Guerrerian staying way out wide. Goulart more straight lining it a little bit. Every piece of the exit, up we go. And you can see that Goulart now has a little bit of breathing room over that white number 1 of defending champ Andrew Charbonneau, who's got Stain glued to his rear bumper. Then a little bit of breathing room back to Wojtek Bertsy as they come by. Valifar still hanging on to 6. Collins. Whoa! Was that a piece? Did he just tink him, or was that just something on the end of the pit wall that had already been there?
I think it's a flag there.
Okay.
I thought it was a mirror flying off.
I did too at first.
You see how it's like NASCAR right now? We got 2, 2,
Yep.
2. Everybody's trying to work together. The whole hand signals. Come on, buddy.
Yeah.
Push me.
Except there's a whole lot of right turns.
Yeah.
Bit of a difference.
Uphill, downhill. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. 14 turns, uphill, downhill, using the gearbox.
But everybody's trying to work together because
Yep.
if they don't work together and they start racing each other, the leaders are going to get away. It's simple as that.
I'm interested to see what, if anything, Van Verst is able to do working with Bolanos and Haldeman and see if they can't close that margin up again.
Chris Haldeman actually is from my hometown, and when I was 16 racing Spec RX-7, he watched me drive my race car to school.
Is that right?
Yeah, with the dealer tag in the back. I didn't know that, you know. He moved to Texas, and now he races with Drago and the guys.
Speaking of which, I'm wondering if Mr. Drago ever got back out. He's 7 laps back at this point. So, matter of fact, he did, and we're getting reports that he's not too far in front of the leaders, albeit a number of laps down. And have to appreciate what that gentleman did there when he came back on. Took it a bit easy, didn't over push things coming down. There is Alexander Bolanos in the 0-2, currently running in the 7th spot.
It looks like, is it Bolanos and Chip Van Verst teammates? Just judging by the paint schemes?
Looks yeah, they very well could be. Bolanos is running an Auto Technique car. And looking, yeah, so is Van Verst.
Okay,
So
because they were definitely working together. Oh, man, they're pulling out before the kink.
Stuff, yeah. That'll put the heart in the throat. There's that blue machine is the gentleman you were just talking about, Christopher Haldeman, who's having a good run. He had one of those races last year that was a bit frustrating for him, but certainly had some great speed to be sure.
Oh, he's making a move to the inside. Is he going to make it stick? No.
Not quite able to get down and underneath Van Verst.
Oh, but then...
That slowed them both up, didn't it? That's Craig Berry.
Craig Berry.
Berry's going to have the inside into Billy Mitchell. That's 13. But if he can't get it done there, no.
I heard last night we were at dinner with a bunch of Miata guys, and they said that Craig Berry was going to be on the move. He started way in the back. Oh, look at these guys following each other off.
That's target fixation right
yeah.
there.
Oh, I'm going exactly where he's at.
So looking at that rear bumper, and suddenly you're off track going, well, that was the right choice.
See, the guy went off in the front. He's going to be railroaded by those 3 cars.
As they come by, boy, I tell you, some great racing.
Right here they come.
Watch for it.
Oh, wait, actually, Chip Van Verst looks like he's helping him.
No, and boy, look at that move, though, by Haldeman. Not quite able to get done, but he popped big time at the last second. He wanted to go by, and Craig Berry went, I'm going to roll the dice and go with him, and it didn't quite pay off. But that's the nature of this kind of racing now as they head down into turn 3. That is Bolanos in the 7th spot right now with Van Verst right behind him. And Bolanos, as a result of that, actually has a little bit of margin. We have completed 9, by the way, of 13. In what has been a very entertaining race anywhere you look on the track.
Yeah, you know what? That's one thing we talked about yesterday. You can come and run Spec Miata anywhere in regional, national, or pro racing, and you can always have somebody to race against. No matter what your talent level or, you know, most of the cars are all very equal. You know, the rules are very strict on each generation of the Miata, or the MX-5 as you call it. But, you know, to go out here, you can race in the top 5, mid-pack, or even in the back of the pack, and you can basically have somebody to run around with and bump draft with.
Absolutely. We've got and another off.
Oh, no,
this one's going. Oh, what a save!
Wow.
And almost clipped the bumper of that guy in front. I think I caught the number on that. It was the 24. And there is no 24, so that would not be a 24 then. But it was a great save nonetheless. There he is.
21.
The 21. And that was a close moment. Steven Powers.
Yeah.
Wow. Closed up, but it's just that intense back in the order just a little bit. Speaking of being back in the order, Michael Collins has had a roller coaster race. Started in the 17th spot, had got up into the top 10, and is now back at 17th after he had one of those big moments in that Sheets Spec Miata.
Now he's back to where he started.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Here we go, Denny Stain. Look at this move, aggressive move down the inside by Sammy Valifar, trying to get by Jim Drago, who is laps down. And I understand Drago may want to prove that he was a player, but you don't affect leaders when they come through.
Yeah, I saw him hit the brakes going in the next corner on the inside, so he's kind of letting everybody get through.
But he did try and stay out a little bit. But obviously, look, that did cost Denny Stain dearly, as he is back now a long distance behind Goulart and Guerrerian, and he's got Charbonneau chomping at the bit. Can't even see the nose of Charbonneau's Miata behind Denny Stain here as they come by. That is the battle for the last medal, the bronze, as we complete lap 10, 3 to go. Going for a national championship here.
He pulled out to make a move on the inside. Nice pass. See, they're right now, we basically have to sit there and think of what are these guys thinking right now. I mean, look, he went a little deep in one, and, these guys are thinking, where do I want to be for that last lap?
Exactly.
And Guerrerian, he's not an amateur at this. He's probably like, man, I like this second place. We got a little bit of gap. I'm right at this point, I'm guaranteed either a silver or gold. So, he might be making that move down to turn 5 and just try to hold Goulart off.
Just watching at this stage, trying to make it work. And obviously, watching Stain and Charbonneau duking it out the way they are, they're losing touch with Goulart and Guerrerian. And, I would have thought that these two guys would have tried to work a little bit more together to try and run these guys back down. But maybe they've decided they're too far out right now. We're battling for the bronze, so let's duke it out and let them settle it out for the gold and silver.
Yeah, I just look at the lap times. Goulart and Guerrerian are 2:43.899, a 2:43.890. I mean,
that's amazing.
Can you get any closer than that?
It's 1/1000th. I mean, it doesn't get closer than that. And they're a half second quicker than Stain, Charbonneau, Valifar, and the rest of the gang. So that's just how fraught this is. And look at that. See, Charbonneau and Stain battling. There was a side-by-side hit. That was Bertzi inside of Stain. And Stain gets, obviously, about a half spin. Never went all the way around, but it's cost him dearly. But that all really started when Stain and Charbonneau were side-by-side through 1, through 3. They lost everything and let those guys behind them catch them. And they're not going to wait. They're going to want to go by.
It happened so fast.
Yeah.
You miss, in this race, you can almost miss one shift and lose 5 spots. I mean, this teaches you, the great thing about it is what I learned is you jump out of a Spec Miata, you learn momentum and how you can get everything out of a car and use every ounce of the track. You jump into a World Challenge car or a Grand Am car in the Pro Series, you tend to drive that car the same and use every part of the track. And plus the amount of the close racing, the bump, not to say bumping and rubbing, but to understand that you're going to deal with this kind of stuff.
To be comfortable in that in that very close quarters racing. Yeah, that makes complete sense. And the other side of it is as you move up, to cars with more horsepower, people say, well, you got the power, you can accelerate. Yeah, but if you exit the turn with a better head of steam than the guy that you're running with, you hit that terminal velocity sooner, you are faster, you can pass them. So everything you learn here about carrying speed applies in any type of car you race, right?
Yep. I was in Spec Miata in 2004, was one of my last years. I literally ran a Tom Oates Corvette World Challenge GT car.
Yeah.
And it was not really that big of a deal because I drove it the same exact way. I just had 600 horsepower.
And look at that. Now that's what you call a last-second pop and go by the 44 of Guerrerian. He was tucked in behind, almost looked like he made a move to the left to try and get Goulart to think, all right, he's not going to do the pass, and then just dove to the inside. But the smart move there was Goulart just let him go. Didn't try and block him and slow them both down.
There's plenty of time yet.
You bet. 2 laps to go, and it's a 4-mile lap. So 8 miles of racing. Goulart taking a look.
I think he's going to set up this outside over and under in turn 5. He did this before.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, he's going to try to break out in the outside. He's going to let Guerrerian's obviously going to block. Oh, he cleared him.
Well, and I think Guerrerian maybe the same deal. Said, I don't want to let those guys behind us catch us and tuck back in behind. Boy, this is just a great study in race tactic.
And the thing is, they're clean. And they're giving each other room. Their mirrors are intact. I can't tell if there's black marks on the side of the cars because they're black. But just good, solid, clean racing.
I certainly haven't seen these guys touch, to my knowledge.
Oh, and there's a late. Oh, he's going deep.
Now,
he's
can he hold it on the exit?
Did you hear the rev limiter?
Well, that can almost be a form of traction control, can it?
Yeah.
Well, now we'll see what Guerrerian has, because he's led for so long. I mean, Goulart's led for so long that Guerrerian has just been sort of tucked in behind working with him. Now we'll see if Goulart has the speed to get by Guerrerian or whether Guerrerian had something in reserve. Like I had said, we've been watching as this race has unfolded. When Goulart, when Charbonneau, and some of the others were using all the track and some curbing, often Guerrerian was not even getting to the curbing. and was able to stay right in that mix. Now Goulart, he's on the wrong outside edge. Oh, well, there's our first little tap.
That's a little bump.
That was I think he was trying to do the over-under, and again, Guerrerian read it beautifully and was kind of right where Goulart wanted to go.
It could have been just like, hey, just letting you know, I'm here. Hey,
you may have passed me, but you're not clear of me yet.
Yes.
And Charbonneau right now, kind of a lonely third by Spec Miata standards. They're well behind these two. I mean, unless something happens up front, the gold and the silver will really be settled here. But Sammy Valifar, Bertzi, and Van Verst are trying to close up on Charbonneau.
Guerrerian is like, I am not going to give you the inside. I'm going to drive along the wall.
Well, we've seen Goulart be okay with that, and he moves up here.
His car drafts really, really well.
Yeah, and it seems like it doesn't necessarily hit that big wall all the time, although it did here. Now, what is he going to do? Is he going to struggle with it, or is he going to let it go?
Yeah. Over and under? Can he do it? Can he pull it off?
Well, it depends on.
Pull it in tight, and no.
Boy, Guerrerian did that beautifully, didn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't go too far on the outside, even though he shallowed up his entry. He made sure he didn't run wide. Boy, and these guys are now glued together. This is it, the run down into 5. This is going to be fascinating. And Goulart's been able to drive by him here on that outside before.
You know, this is Goulart. This is his brand new car here.
Yep.
And he told me, he said, I've been working on it, and I feel really good about it. His car is really hooked up in turn 3. He's getting out of turn 3 better than Guerrerian can get out of there because he's making a move and going to turn 5, carry momentum.
Boy, that was almost a Guerrerian-esque move, and he didn't quite get it done. But now watch him square down underneath, go to the throttle sooner.
Oh.
Guerrerian thought he was going to come underneath and went to the middle and looked for a second like Goulart might get the drive and be able to do something on the outside up into 6th. And by the way, behind these two, Charbonneau suddenly has big company in the form of the 78 of Valifar, and that battle for the bronze is by no means over. It is hot as can be, and there's been a position change. Valifar has gone around Charbonneau while we've been watching this great battle for 3rd. Hey, and a little bit wide that time. That may have been what Goulart needed, and he's by.
What a nice move. The guys gave each other room there. Guerrerian was a little bit wide and had to back out of the throttle. And once he lifted, Goulart was like, thanks, thank you.
Pounced.
Yep, he did. Took advantage.
Now, this is the key because this is their last time down through the kink and into Canada corner. And this is where Guerrerian needs every ounce of speed. He needs a little bobble from Goulart. And Guerrerian's closing. He did get a draft. He is coming as we head down into Canada corner. Final lap. Charbonneau trying to do the same to Valifar. Goulart protects down the inside of that outer edge of the track. Guerrerian trying to do it around the outside. Gets off wide over the rumble strips through the dirt. That'll cost him some momentum, but he didn't lose much. Here we go, into 14. Goulart, Guerrerian, this close. One more turn. Goulart's got to be perfect or Guerrerian will pounce. Goulart used every bit of that track without exceeding it at all. And look at Valifar with Charbonneau, same story. Goulart looks like he's got the momentum. I don't think Guerrerian's close enough to get any kind of a tow. It's going to be Elevin Goulart winning his 3rd gold medal in the Runoffs, 1st in a sedan. And Valifar hanging on after a brilliant final lap to get by Charbonneau and takes home that 3rd and final medal, the bronze. Unbelievable stuff. And Chip Van Verst, he didn't medal, but you got to give it to him. 34th without turning a lap in qualifying, which means he did the warm-up this morning to 6th.
You can't.
That's
awesome.
Stunning.
Yeah. But then you look at the lap times, you know, this shows a difference. These guys were here and they prepped their cars. I mean, 43.899, those guys were on it. But, I mean, Valifar, what a great drive.
Yeah, I mean, he started that last lap. He was a ways behind Charbonneau, and he drove that gap down to nothing and then made a great, I'm guessing that pass was probably in 5 or 6 because we were so focused on that front battle. It was that close. Here's another good scrap coming up the hill. At this point, again, further back in the pack. But still in all, it is a battle to be had. And let's see what happens. They come by. That was Cahill and Pintarek, I believe. And that was a battle for 23rd. And that's nose to tail. And they're racing as hard as they can race. Obviously, you want to be racing for the medals here. But in a field like this, we've talked about it, you could be racing for 25th. And it can be one of the great races you've had all season long.
If you leave the runoffs with a top 10, I mean, everybody in the country.
It
is an achievement.
I mean, there's 525 cars were entered, so that's a big entry. But you think about how many thousands upon thousands of racers there are racing throughout a season, and you end up top 10 in your class, you've achieved something very special indeed.
And we're just in the runoffs. We have to think that in the Northeast region, we have 55 Miatas that start a regional race.
Yeah.
55. So you take that times how many regions. If that's, that's a lot of cars that they had to win their region to come here first and then have the 35-car battle.
Absolutely. I mean, there's 70 national races amongst the 9 divisions out there, and you've got to earn it to get here. Now, this is interesting. What happened here?
Is he passed out? They're getting him water.
Wow, it looked like somebody maybe threw him an ice bag or something, and he's laid down. Well, like you said, having absolutely no track time and driving that hard, maybe it just took it out of him.
Maybe he didn't sleep last night, flew in this morning.
Well, that could be. Just totally
exhausted.
Wow, that's a good story. That's 07. Yeah, said he just pulled over and then hopped out of the car and over the wall and laid down. Boy, that's the 07? Oh, the 07 that was. Okay. And I'm looking here. We don't have a 07, so I wonder if that. Yeah, I mean, we're monitoring the network, and we'll have to check and see. But still, in all, boy, what an interesting development. Not a good one at the end here to have somebody struggling like that. I mean, after the flag, but Joe, wow, what an amazing run here. And that battle at the front between Elvin Goulart and Steve Guerrerian, absolutely brilliant stuff. Certainly. The battle behind them for that bronze with Valifar, Charbonneau in the mix. We had Bertzi. Denny Stain obviously was a player early but faded back to about 7th, along with Bolanos. Some great racing throughout the pack. Michael Collins able to come back up to 15th after starting 17th, being in the top 10, dropping back a little bit. Just some hectic action unfolding out here on the track. And obviously, who knows, had Jim Drago not had that punt early and been knocked off into the and obviously broke something, had to come in and get it dealt with. He was certainly going to be in the mix as well. But an amazing race unfolding here. Spec Miata, the national championship decided. And there is Elvin Goulart. And look at that look. He looked out and went, whoo! He knows he's been in a war. And just a superb drive. Great stuff. And John Bizignano was ready. They're doing the hat swap. John, this guy earned it.
Well, let me tell you, for what I saw on the TV, your car looks pretty good. Tell us about your race.
The car was fantastic. My dad, brand new car, first race with the car. He just got it right. We nailed it. We came here with only 2 days of qualifying, put it outside front row, and had a great race. It was a tight battle between Goriarin. He raced it fairly clean, so that was good. And finished the race. We're here. Got to thank everybody, the whole crew back at home. Say hi to my wife, kids at home, and family as well. Special thanks to some of the sponsors.
Let's get the gold medal on you before you thank those guys. My gosh, let's make it official. All right, you want to have the gold on when you're thanking your sponsors. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you to SCCA. Thank you to Chris Mayberry for giving us the car to drive. Again, thank you for my dad for all the hard work. Drago also helped us out getting the car set up. So fantastic day. Glad to be here. And finally, big thanks to Mazda for having such great support for the series.
Now, listen to me. Now, what about the beginning of the race? I mean, was the track slippy? I mean, it wasn't totally dry by then. You guys actually, you were the ones that dried it out.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we did. It was especially slippery through the kink. I was going pretty well through there. Some of the corners, I just got caught out on the outside and got hung out to dry, but started working my way back and forth again, and finally to the top, and then it came down to just Goriarin and myself.
Why bring a brand new car to the runoffs?
Because we thought it was faster.
All right. Congratulations on the gold, buddy. Okay, our second place man, of course, what a terrific drive he had. An awful lot of action all throughout the event. I want to talk to Steve here for a second. We have our third place man right away. Right now, Steve is missing. But Sammy, my gosh, I mean, you were sitting there watching all this action going on and on and on. At one point, you had to say, just let me stay safe, watch these guys eliminate each other.
No way, I was going for broke.
You were going to
myself.
go for it, all right. So you just wanted to get in there and mix it up.
My plan was to either bring back a wrecked car or try to get to the front. I kind of almost did both, but it was a great run. In the end, my car was very fast. It looked like I was actually catching the leaders. I made a couple mistakes. I threw it off and there was my chance to catch the leaders. But nonetheless, with 2 to go, I told my guy on the radio, I was like, if they have 2 more laps, I think I can make it to the podium. And sure enough, I did. And I got to thank Hawk Performance, Auto Technique Racing Engines, Toyo Tires, Mazda, my crew, Jay Harley. Anyone I didn't mention, you're thanked too. And it was a crazy race.
Well, what if you did have 2 more laps?
I think if I had 3 more laps, I could have caught the leaders.
Well, we'll see about that next year. Steve, my gosh, you're wandering around here, Steve. Sorry, man. Go Racing. Do you mind if I jump in here, buddy? Steve, congratulations. You were a sandwich for most of this race. What was the most fun part about it for you?
Well, the most fun about it was just the slicing and dicing.
Right.
It seemed like I was able to pass him without touching him, but he hit me like 4 times. Look at the back of the car. About sent me off in 5. I mean, it was kind of ridiculous, And then you guys probably saw the show down the front straightaway. I had a run on coming off the turn, pop, pass him. He just walks me right back down, I mean, David had the car handling like phenomenally. The car was absolutely awesome. And we could catch him, but catching him and passing him, I mean, they got to do. It's got to be Spec, man. Not some guy just motoring down the straightaway on you.
What part of the track did you think that you had the biggest advantage on then?
Probably coming out of the carousel. He and I were taking very different lines there. He's a very good driver, but he was just taking a little different line there. And I felt that through the kink, I was able to catch him down into Canada Corner. But then, coming onto the front straightaway, down the middle straightaway, it's just, lights out. See you, bye.
Congratulations on a great silver medal.
All right, thanks a lot. Be back next time.
Okay, guys, all right, you're going to be back. A little bit of what they say in NASCAR, just a little bit of friendly rubbing, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a fiercely fought race, to be sure, and I'll tell you, that battle at the front was spectacular. It was aggressive, it was hard fought, and both of them put on a great show. And let's give an extra little shout out here to Valifar, who gets a bronze medal. Keep in mind, he ended up 32nd last year, but he had qualified 3rd, and he had a big problem during the race and made good. Came back and put it on the podium this year. And I loved how he was saying he realized, boy, my car was great at the end here. I just needed more time, and it just owned up to the fact that he made the mistake, threw it off, and that probably was what maybe cost him a shot at the gold. But nonetheless, Sammy Valifar, he's going to be somebody to watch. That was an absolutely brilliant drive.
Another great drive was Greg Berry. He started 19th, and he made his way all the way up and was mixing up with top 10 and ended up in a 9th spot, which is, he might have saw Chip Van Vurst come by and said, wait, I can go. I'm going to follow him. He's going the way I want to go.
Well, and that's one of those things too. When you're back in the pack a little bit, maybe this is a newer class to you, whatever. You've got an opportunity when one of the fast guys comes by, tuck in behind him and go to school.
Yeah, basically line it. Yeah, let him open the holes up and just follow him
and show you. Oh, you can brake here, and this is where I should turn. I've been turning in early, whatever, and pay it off. Absolutely. So, just a great job by everybody. And as you said, Chip, you finish in the top 10 at Spec Miata, or in any of the classes, but certainly in Spec Miata, where the onus is on the driver. It's a spec class. That's the idea. Sure, you could do little setup things, but the idea is everything else being equal, can you drive it? And we have seen some of these guys certainly can. As a matter of fact, we're going to take a look at some of the highlights right here of this great race. And absolutely spectacular. Some battling extraordinaire. And in the end, it was an amazing race. The gold going to Elvin Goulart, his 3rd, but his 1st in sedans. Great to see. You can see just how close fought some of this action was in the run to the final here. So some great stuff. That is a look at the highlights of what unfolded in an awesome run to a national championship in Spec Miata.
Following the race, both the number 44 and the number 78 cars were disqualified, promoting Andrew Charbonneau and Wojtek Burski to 2nd and 3rd place, respectively.
This portion of the 48th Annual SCCA National Championship Runoffs is being brought to you by Mazda, Zoom Zoom, by Black Magic Car Care Products, and by Gumout, cleaning since 1945.
What do you drive? Is it inspiring? Was it built by a behemoth car maker? Or insightful craftsmen obsessing over the details, building better cars for a discerning few? Are you one of the few who care about what you drive and how it drives? We're with you because we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. We build Mazdas. What do you drive?
Gumout Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner helps restore lost horsepower and fuel economy. Just pour an entire bottle of Gumout Regain into your tank before your next fill-up. Powerful cleaning additives attach themselves to fuel system carbon deposits and safely and effectively lift them away. That way, deposits burn up, then pass through the exhaust. Gumout Regain additives even leave a protective barrier to help keep new deposits from forming for up to 3,000 miles. Get a bottle of Gumout Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner today for reduced engine hesitation, surging and knocking, as well as restored fuel economy and lost horsepower, all within one fill-up.
Okay, it's time to face facts. You're a gearhead. You treat the freeway on-ramp like your own personal racetrack, and you love the smell of burning rubber. Well, good news, Speed Junkie. The Sports Car Club of America wants you. With 40,000 members and 2,000 events across the country, the SCCA has all the wheel-spinning, engine-revving excitement you can handle. Want to dance on the edge of control? In SCCA Solo, you'll learn the blacktop two-step with an army of cones trying to trip you up. If slinging mud is your thing, check out SCCA Rallycross, where power slides and rooster tails are the name of the game. And if wheel-to-wheel competition is what you crave, SCCA Club Racing lets you chase the checkered flag on America's toughest racetracks. Join the Sports Car Club of America today and feed your obsession.